Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon. Okay, we're good. No static. Believe it or not, when I went live with my team this morning, I had static, y'all. I was not a happy camper. Hey, Donna. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing on this Wednesday, October 22nd? Wednesday, October 22nd, day 22 of our October push-up challenge. Day 22. Do you remember back on day 1? We were doing push-ups on the wall. Then about 7 days later, we moved down to our kitchen counter. And then 7 days later, we moved down to the weight bench. 3 weeks has gone by. And now, here we are on this glorious October 22nd day, day 22 of our push-up challenge, and we're going to take it to the floor. Yes, we are. We're going to take it to the floor. I'm going to be giving you a lot of guidance here, a lot of tips. You can give it a go. We're only doing 1 rep, okay? 1 rep, just 1. Remember, it's progress, not perfection. We're learning. Our goal is to be able to do this over our lifespan. We've got all the time ahead of us. We're not here to do 1,000 push-ups today. No, we are not. Hey, Donna. Thank you, Donna, for letting me know you can hear me and see me and that there's no static. Margaret's in the house. Donna said it's cold and rainy in Buffalo. Well, Donna, I'm sending you some Florida sunshine. I'm sending you some Florida sunshine. On days that are cold and rainy, you got to make your own sunshine, don't you? I used to live in Virginia. I remember those days. I remember those days. Okay, so today we're going to hit the floor. Yeah, we're going to go down to the floor. Everybody's going to give the floor a try. Here's the thing to remember. Again, we're going up the weight rack. We're adding weight. On the wall was lightweight. On the kitchen counter, we're getting a little heavier, starting to feel our body weight. Going down to the bench, yeah, moderate, right? You can feel it more. Down on the floor, you're going to be raising and lowering pretty much your full body weight, almost your full body weight, right? And this is where the rubber meets the road, and this is strength training. And this is using your body weight. Your body, the gym is wherever you are. I cannot stress that enough. Your body's the machine. You just meet yourself where you're at and you do what you can. That's why it was important to learn all the different levels of doing this body weight exercise so that everybody can do it. You just have to do what works for you, and then you have to show up consistently to build strength so that you can move down to the floor eventually, right? That's the goal. So I'm going to do some demonstrating first. I'm just going to do some demonstrating first. I know it's high noon. So I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to demonstrate first. And then we're going to do our 1 rep together. But there's some tips that I want to share with you that'll help you. But before we get to that, a lot of people say, oh, I'm 50 years old. How many push-ups should I be able to do for my age? Well, if you go online and you try to look up your age and how many push-ups you should be able to do. There's a lot of different information out there. You can go by time. You go by failure, right? They go by your form. Maybe they're not as strict on form as others are. I mean, it's like all over the place. So we're going to use, like I say in some of my blogs, be sensible. Let's be sensible. Most of us, my clients are all mostly over 50. And our goal is for functionality and strength and maintaining muscle and strong bones and flexibility and all those things. That's what we care about. In order to be doing these push-ups and learning to do push-ups and incorporating them into your fitness lifestyle, your healthy lifestyle, to continue to hold on to that muscle and increase your muscle, you should have a push-up goal. You should have a push-up goal written in your journal. How many push-ups? Remember, goals need to be measurable. What gets measured gets managed. If you're not journaling stuff, maybe that's why you're struggling. Journaling, measure, okay? So here we go. I am going to give you 2 resources that I personally use and like. Okay, the first one is the American Council on Exercise, ACE, okay? And this is just a realistic snapshot of how many push-ups by age for goals, okay? So if you're in your 50s, men, good to average, 18 to 24 push-ups. Men, to be excellent, over 25. Women in their 50s, a good to average push-up, meaning maybe you're on a knee, maybe you don't go all the way down and all the way up, maybe you don't have a full range. You see what I'm saying? Good and average, and how many reps you can do, 9 to 12. A woman who is in her 50s that can do 13 or more push-ups, you're considered excellent. Did it say 100? Did it say 40 push-ups? No. It says 13. Here's the other thing people do. They go crazy and they say, I'm going to do 50 push-ups. Having big goals and having big aspirations to shoot for, I always like to make my goals in smaller segments and make them obtainable. So say I can do 10 push-ups. Well, then my next goal would be, okay, I'm going to shoot for 15. And I hit my 15. Okay, I'm going to shoot for 17. Then my next goal, I'm going to shoot for 18. You see what I'm saying? Set realistic goals for you. All right, I'm in the 60 age group. Okay, so I'm in the 60 age group. For men that are 60 and up, they should be able to do 15 to 20 good average push-ups. Men that are 60 plus, who have high strength and can do excellent push-ups, should be able to do 21 or more. Women in their 60s, 6 to 9 push-ups for good and average. 6 to 9 push-ups. If you're 60 or higher age, excellent would be 10 or more. I like to look at the Mayo Clinic chart. This is the other chart that I like to look at and use to set goals for push-ups. Because push-up goals by age, they're more realistic, I think, with this, with what I just told you about the ACE guidelines, and then these are for Mayo Clinic, and they're kind of about the same. Mayo Clinic says at age 25, Women should aim for 20 push-ups. Men should aim for 28. At age 35, women should aim for 19. Men should aim for 21. At 45, women should aim for 14 push-ups. Men should aim for 16. At 55, women should aim for 10. Men should aim for 12. And at 65 and above, both men and women should aim to be able to do 10 really strong, great push-ups. And if you can do more than that, that's awesome. That's awesome. But if you added push-ups to your fitness routine and you can do 10 solid push-ups, you're off. That's great. But let me say one other thing. If you can just do one push-up, that's great. 1 rep is all you need. Test your strength. 1 rep. 1 really good push-up with really good form. All the way down, all the way up. Right? Focused with intention. That is good. Okay? So with that being said, that should help you set some goals. Okay? That should help you set some goals. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Maggie, hi. Maggie's in the house. Okay, I'm checking to see who else is here before I move the laptop away. You're welcome, Donna. Yep, got that Florida sunshine. Heading your way. Okay. I remembered to take my shoes off today because I like to do push-ups and planks without my shoes on. I think I had told you all this. When you use your shoes, they act as a cast on your foot and they give you like extra support. I mean, unless you have an issue where you need to wear your shoes, but it's really good for your foot, your flexion and your ankles and your toes and the bottom of your foot to get all the stretching going on, and you really feel locked in. You're touching the earth with your hands, you're touching the earth with your feet, and you're locked in. That's what I like to feel, the earth underneath me. When I do planks outdoors or push-ups outdoors, I don't use mat or anything. I just like to be in the grass or wherever I am, to do it because I like to feel the earth. Okay, so I've got elbow sleeves on and wrist wraps. As I mentioned videos back, it's not because I'm injured, it's because it helps to protect my joints, my ligaments, and my tendons, especially for push-ups. Today, I'm wearing wrist wraps that are made by Slingshot. That's the brand name, Slingshot. And they're a lot thicker and a lot thicker and heavier. When I go to the floor, I like to wear these thicker and heavier wristbands, wrist wraps. All right, so here we go. I'm going to demonstrate. So the first thing is you're going to get down to the floor to do like a plank, right? You're going to get in plank position. Now, the first thing I want to explain to you is your hands need to be slightly wider than your shoulders. Not out here, not out here, not out here. Just slightly wider than your shoulders. Not in like this, just slightly wider than the shoulders, okay? Not out here. When I first learned to do push-ups, this is how I did them. I have pictures of me doing push-ups like this. No wonder my shoulder hurt. Now I do them with my hands in the right position. You learn. It's a big learning curve. It's a big learning curve, okay? But if you have your shoulders way out here like this, that's not good on your shoulders. You need to have them in. Remember, roll those shoulders back and have really good posture like we did up on the wall. You do the same thing on the floor. The other thing that I want to share is keeping your wrists in line with your shoulders, okay? So you're not going to have them flared out. Now, I have a hex dumbbell here. I have a hex dumbbell. I'm going to use these hex dumbbells to like a push-up, or if you have push-up bars, maybe you've seen push-up bars. But if you feel like you have wrist pressure when your hands are on the floor, if you use dumbbells, these are two 15-pound dumbbells. If you use two dumbbells, they allow more of a neutral grip, and they help keep your wrist straight. So you can see I'm up here like this, and I'm just going to come down to do my push-up and push right back up. And my hands are on the dumbbell. And it feels a lot different doing it that way than when you're on the floor with your hands like this. I like both ways. Sometimes I do them with dumbbells, sometimes I don't do it with dumbbells. So, as you could see when I did that push-up, I lowered my chest to the floor, engaging your core before you lower. There you go, right? Brace, brace, brace. Your head, your eyes are kind of looking ahead of you. You're not down like this. And don't, a lot of people will move their head down because it makes them feel like they're lower. If they just kind of move their head down, they're going lower. No, you have to stay in a straight plank, up and down, moving as one unit. And the other thing too, of course, is keeping your body in alignment, not up like this and not sagging like this. Straight. Okay? So now let's talk about doing push-ups from the knees. And I'm still got my hands on these dumbbells. So I'm in my plank. I'm going to drop my knees, and I'm going to do a push-up right from my knees. All right? When you put your knee down, it lightens the load, right? It lightens the load. Okay, now, the next step, once you can do some knee push-ups and you want to take it up a notch, come right back into your plank. You can put one knee down, and do your push-up with one knee down. Again, focusing on control, form, keeping your hips square, keeping straight. So you can start with two knees, work your way to one knee, and then work your way to a full push-up on the floor. It takes time. Remember, you're going to start where you are and work your way to the floor. Maybe you do one on the floor and you do a couple on the kitchen counter or the weight bench. Or maybe some on the wall and some on the kitchen counter, and you kind of work your way down here. When you're ready for the floor, you don't know till you try, so you just try it, see how you do, right? The thing is, what I always say, consistency. You've got to show up and try your push-ups frequently, whether you incorporate them in an upper body workout day, or maybe 3 days a week, you're going to do one push-up, right? Depending on what your push-up goals are and how aggressive you want to be, you know, that's up to you. Let me see if there's any questions before we move on. You do appreciate all the information. Okay, well, yeah, you know why? I made a lot of mistakes. Early on, because, you know, I never exercised until I was in my 50s. I learned how to exercise, and I didn't understand how important my core was to push-ups and what have you. I just didn't know. That's why I'm real passionate and always talk about breathing and form and making sure you're paying attention. And because honestly, at my age, I'm 67, I don't want to get hurt. My goal is to be strong and fit. I don't want to be laid up with an injury. That's the last thing I want. I am super careful. So here we go. Let's do our 1 rep push-up. Don't sag your hips or arch your back. You're going to move the body like think of a surfboard. Perfectly flat board. You're going to move as one board. Okay? So here we go. Let's do our 1 push-up. It is October 22nd. We're taking it to the floor. You can do it on 2 knees, 1 knee, or 1 full push-up. We're doing 1. Remember, your eyes should be slightly ahead of your hands. And keep your shoulders away from your ears. Use your breath. Inhale as you lower, exhale as you press up. Here we go. Good. Good job. Good job. All right. Good job. I had to make notes to share with y'all because there's a lot to remember, and I didn't want to forget something. So I'm sweaty. Of course, it is a little warm in here. You're welcome, Maggie. Now, at this stage of my life, and maybe some of you that are over 50, training is about a lot more than muscle. It's about mobility, our bone health, and our confidence as we age. And, you want to go out shopping. You want to be able to get in and out of your car and walk in the store under your own power. That takes confidence as we get older. Stepping up and down from a curb, right? So every rep improves your posture, your circulation, and your energy. So the floor isn't a stopping point, okay? Because there's many other variations of planks and lots of different things you can do with planking and with the push-up. I love planking and I love push-ups. Now I want to tell you a little story before we go. I have a friend who, when I was learning to do push-ups, she and I and John, my husband, we did a little push-up thing together. And she doesn't live in our same state, so it was kind of online and we would talk to each other. And we would say how many push-ups we're going to do that day. And our goal was to get to 30 push-ups. And we got to our goal. Now, this was years ago. We got to our goal, but the difference between her and me, she stayed on top of her push-ups. She kept doing her push-ups. She was consistent with her push-ups. She got so good at that. She is still doing excellence with her push-ups. She is a role model for me and a dear friend and somebody I love dearly. She is 72 years old and she can do 30 push-ups. A beautiful soul, a beautiful woman. Some of you in the Body for Life group probably know who she is. The difference between her and I did my push-ups, but I didn't focus on getting 30. But she stuck with her 30. She stuck with her 30. I am incredibly proud of her, and she knows I'm talking about her today. I asked her permission to share her age because don't you think it's remarkable that a 72-year-old woman can do 30 push-ups? Bam, bam, bam. She does 30 push-ups. Incredibly inspiring. Incredible. I think you need a role model. You need people to look up to that inspire you to keep going and that inspire you to show up every day. And she's one of mine. She's one of mine. And I just wanted to mention her since we're talking about setting goals for push-ups. So I hope this was helpful for you. Tomorrow we're going to be back on the floor. And we're just going to do one. But remember, you can do your one on the bench. You can do your one on the kitchen counter. You can do your one on the wall where you're at. Remember, I'm meeting you where you're at. But at least now you have a clear understanding of the process and working your way up the rack as you go to the floor, adding the body weight, right? Adding that body weight. So I hope that was helpful. Good job. If anybody has questions, let me know. Let me know. This video is going to be uploaded to the YouTube channel later this afternoon, so if you want to watch it again, you can for review. If you need to review, it'll be up on the K Factor YouTube channel, day 22. And tomorrow, we're going to just come back to the floor. We're strong. Yeah, good job, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow. My name is Kim Knapp. I'm your coach here at the K Factor, Fitness and Health for Life, where I help you get what you want, and I will see you right back here tomorrow. Make it a great day, everybody. Thank you for being here. And those of you on the replay team, I see you. Good job. Bye.